Today is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a Sweden day, but not just a Sweden day, but a Sweden culture day. The 21 things I love about Sweden. Without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Let's go.
So I thought it might be fun to sit here by the lake and talk about some of the reasons I love Sweden and the Scandinavian countries.
Me too.
And one of the reasons is I can sit out here and it's 3 degrees. I've got a really warm cup of coffee, which is going to get colder, so the video is going to be really quick, hopefully, otherwise I'm going to get chilly. But yesterday it was -4 and we had snow on the ground, so +3 seems positively balmy. Anyway, on to the reasons I love Sweden. I think I started with 21. Pretty sure there's going to be way more than that by the time I finish. By the way, I'd love to hear what you think of my reasons, especially if you are Swedish or Scandinavian, whether you agree or disagree, or if you love Sweden and I've missed out what you love. Please comment in the comments below and tell me what I've missed off my list. This isn't any particular order other than probably the order that they occurred to me, but probably very close to the top of the list is just the amount of nature and the vastness of the forest and the size of the lakes, which is really hard to capture on camera unless you sort of take a drone up and you just are overwhelmed with the size of it. The fact that the air is so clean is a really strange thing.
The air. That is one of the big things for me. I didn't get to see like a whole lot of nature. I got to see it from the bus, but the air is very clean, it's true.
I've never smelt the air in my home country of the UK. You don't realise how pure the air is here until you're somewhere else where it's less pure and you can smell the fumes, everything in the air. I'm just drawing my water here from this vast lake to drink because it's still so pure, even though this is less than an hour from Gothenburg or Göteborg. Anyway, number 2.
It's less than an hour. I should have gone there then if it's less than an hour from Gothenburg.
Fika. Fika is a thing. Fika is not just about coffee and cake. It's about purposefully taking time out. And mostly fika is done with somebody. So you don't just sit and have your own coffee and cake all by yourself. You fika.
Well, I didn't get to have fika with anybody because I didn't have anyone to have fika with me. So when I'm back in Sweden, can someone be my fika friend? I need a fika friend. I had fika by myself. So did I really have fika? I don't think so, because you need to do it with someone.
With someone, or you invite
Why have I got
someone
subtitles
over
on? I don't
fika.
know.
It's
guys.
a real community thing. And I think the Scandinavians have got a lot they can teach us about self-care and just taking time for yourself. The fact that you can have a coffee and a cake with a friend and just stop and there's no rush, there's no hurry. It's just about spending time in that moment. That's definitely something I think we can all learn from. High up the list at number 3 is kanelbulle and kardemummabulle, which...
Oh, I've had both, by the way. When I was in Sweden, I had both. I prefer the kanelbulle than the kardemummabulle. That's also nice, but the original is just chef's kiss.
Is cinnamon buns or rolls and cardamom buns.
buns.
These are supreme creations.
So
and
good.
for someone who's
good.
only ever had cardamom as part of a curry paste or something, it's a complete revelation. The flavour of cardamom, for me, way better than cinnamon, I think. It's got this amazing aroma as you bite into it. So for me, kardemummabulle, and I think you probably already know, the best ones that I've tasted are the ones we buy at Nygren's Cafe in Alingsås. But then, what do I know? I haven't been to that many places to have kardemummabulle. Number 4. Marabou chocolate. Total win if you haven't tried it.
Marabou chocolate. You've seen me try it on this channel. If you haven't, the video is on my channel of me trying it. So good. So good. Almost as good as Cadbury's. I wonder what she says. I wonder if she mentions Cadbury's. Almost. Not quite, guys. I'm sorry. We make good chocolate. But Marabou is very, very close for me.
In the UK, you can buy it off Amazon. So give it a go. It'll be a great point of self-care.
Did she say the UK can buy it off Amazon? Thanks. I might have to get some Marabou now. I didn't know that. Or did I know that? I mean, you can order anything online, but is it going to be the same as when you are in Sweden and you're having it? No. So that's why I wanted to bring the chocolate back from Sweden myself. I want to go back to Sweden now because now I want cannabula and I want some Marabou chocolate.
And looking after yourself just to try it out. You may have already guessed this, but number 5 is the fact that they have cute cottages and houses, and I love the fact they paint them all sorts of different colours. Although predominantly in the countryside you'll see
So
red
nice.
is cream and yellow and blue and
I love
just
your houses.
amazing colours. You can choose the colour so you can express your personality in the colour of the house, but also just the architecture here, these just wooden houses with massive windows to let in loads of light. I just love it. That's why I bought a cottage here. Number 6, I'm running out of fingers, but my drink is still warm enough to keep my hands warm, so this is good news. It's Janteloven, which is Jante's
Love
Lord.
Jante.
I think
She loves that.
comes from Denmark, is Danish. Janteloven, Jante's Law, it's the idea that no one person is better than the others, that it's not right to show that you have more than others or that you're better. So if you go into a Swedish or Scandinavian office or work environment, you won't easily be able to tell who's the boss. They won't be dressing different, they won't have a massive office. They're trying to blend in and say, you know, look, I'm just like you, but in a good way. In a good way, they're saying, hey, we're all in this together, rather than I'm the boss and you're my underlings. I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
I like it, but I can understand people that don't like it because for what the people that don't like it are saying is that it can manifest itself in a toxic way. So the law of Jante can mean something positive like that everyone in the workplace is exactly the same. There's no hierarchy. There's no boss. Everyone's in it together. How she said it. That's the beautiful way of looking at it. But then everything gets abused. You know, we're human beings, and the law of Jante can also mean that someone looks down upon you because they think that you think you're better than them. Does that make sense? So even if you're someone who's not trying to stand out or not trying to purposefully succeed or show off, or do you know what I mean? Like show that you're doing better. It's more about how that other person's feeling about you. Does that make so? It can kind of manifest itself in quite a negative way because you could be someone could, because of jealousy, could look at you and be like, he thinks he's better than me, even though you might not. It can be toxic in that way. So there's two ways of looking at. I get what she's saying, and I get what. Remember the video I watched the other day, the two guys, the gay guys, and they were talking about how they don't like so much that law. So it's interesting. It's interesting. There's no wrong or right answer, I think. It's just an interesting cultural thing of Sweden. And I love everything about Sweden personally. So I love everything. So I don't mind that.
My fingers are getting a bit chilly now. Number 7. I think you've got to love any country that eats raw fish for breakfast. End of. Raw fish for breakfast and caviar. You've got to love them. Number 8, that their level of English is just mind-blowing. I mean, and they speak all colloquial stuff as well. Most people will understand if you say, talar du engelska, which is, do you speak English? And most people will then be happy to converse in incredibly good English.
Great.
Number 9, the Scandinavians are renowned for their minimalistic and stylish home decor, obviously with IKEA being like a national brand that we can all have in our homes. But I think the Scandinavians did minimalism before minimalism was a thing. I really do love their understated style. Number 10, the way Scandinavians treat children is different to how people treat children, certainly in the UK, in my experience. 2 Christmases ago, I took my granddaughter, who was 7 at the time, to a Christmas market in my hometown. We were looking at a stall, and the lady behind the counter said to me, not to my granddaughter, who's 7 and a smart cookie, would she like to try that? And I'm like, why are you talking directly to her? Oops, just spilled my coffee. And it was the weirdest thing. And I see it in other places where people will talk to the adult and ignore the child. Whereas here, there's an assumption, quite rightly, that the child has something to say, that they have a value. The child and the adult are kind of on equal footing for conversation. And
That's something I've not heard before. This is a new one. Interesting. I didn't know that because obviously I don't have kids and I'm not being able to see the interaction between adults and kids. But yeah, in the Western world, especially in the UK, if you are with a child, the adult will speak to me as the adult and not speak to the child, and ask the child what they want. And if they do, then it'll be in like baby talk, you know? Whereas you guys actually speak to children like you would speak to an adult. That's interesting.
really like that. I like the fact that they assume that a child will have something interesting to say and can contribute to a conversation.
Wow.
Number 11, in the summer, Sweden is, you can see so many amazing vintage cars, mostly like 1950s American cars. You'll be driving along and there'll be someone out there cruising around the town in their amazing, huge American car.
I found that quite bizarre about Sweden, that I didn't see any American cars when I was there, but I'm saying like I knew about this from watching a video of your obsession or a subset of your societies that are obsessed with American culture and American cars, but old American culture, like she said, 1950s, 1940s, that sort of era of America, which is like, I don't know, it's just weird. I don't know. I wouldn't expect that from Sweden, but clearly it's a thing.
I love the freedom that they give you to build something. So, as far as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but if you own land, you can build something up to 25 meters squared without needing planning permission. And I love the fact they assume you're not going to make a complete mess of it and that you're not going to build something inappropriate. You can, therefore, buy a piece of land and have your own homestead, your own little place that you can call home, which in so many countries, its planning permission is really tight. I guess because you've got a massive country and only 10 million people and I don't know how many billion trees, you can afford to do that. What I like about it also represents that there's a kind of sense of trust that you're not going to do something stupid because you respect the land, love the forest, that you love the lakes. You're not going to do anything to damage or pollute or spoil.
Whereas in the UK, our cannot be trusted because there's a lot of people that don't treat the land well at all in this country.
This amazing resource that everybody here values. Number 13, I love the fact that Swedes have a real sense of fun with some of the things. The fact that they have a Kanelbullensdag, which is Kanelbulle Day, and they have a, I don't know whether it's Svenska Waffeldag. I think it must be Swedish Waffle Day. I just think it's fun.
Wait, Waffeldagen? Waffle? You have a waffle day? Did I know that you had a waffle day? I probably didn't know you had a waffle day. Now I do. Now I do.
You know, Pancake Day is kind of some old religious thing, and I don't know where these holidays come from. But the Kanelbullensdag is a recent thing. I think it was only introduced in the mid-1990s. I love the fact that this is just like, hey, we can have fun. We might be serious people, we might be doing a really good job. We can also have fun. Number 14, they really have a sense of an abundance mindset. And you notice it coming from a culture where that's not the case, where there's a scarcity mindset. It's never too much to give you something. They're not like, oh, I'm going to hold on to that because I won't have enough. They always, there's an assumption that they've got enough to give. And their generosity in all sorts of ways is reflected in that. Most places seem to have free parking. So it's just within the culture. This is all paid for by your taxes, but hey, just park for free so you don't have to think about those things. And I just think that whole generosity really permeates the whole culture in a really great way.
Is it generosity if you pay for it in your taxes though? Do you know what I mean? But I think there's a generosity might not be the word, maybe just the ease of things. Like I feel like your government and your society, you try and make things as easy and accessible. That's the word, as accessible as possible, which is kindness because to put everything behind a paywall makes things difficult for people to access. I think your society is very accessible That's it. And even if it comes out of taxes, everyone's willing to pay because it makes everyone's life easier. And you have trust in your government to do that, which I do love. I do love Sweden. I get a little bit emotional about Sweden. I'm just thinking about Sweden. I just loved it. When I was there, I was like, I really wanted to be part of. I was like, I wish I was Swedish. When I was there, I was like, I wish I was Swedish. I wish I was part of Swedish society. I just think you've just got an awesome country, a really nice country. Still in love with Gothenburg, by the way. I'm Malmo though, to be fair. I just love Sweden. I'm coming back. Do you know what? I just should start planning my journey back to Sweden now. So I can see other parts. It's just the weather's bad now. I did say I wanted to come at Christmas time, and then again, I want to go to Germany as well. I don't know. I need to come back to Sweden. Anyways, I digress. Let's continue.
Scandinavians just love being outdoors. So in the summer, they're out there getting as much sun as they possibly can because they know the winter's coming. So they have a real intentionality about getting outside and walking, hiking, swimming. Even in the winter, you'll see people going along the bike trails. I don't know what you call them, like fake skis with the poles. So they're practicing for when the snow comes. They have a real sense of connection to nature, which I think we've lost in a lot of places. But here they just really are aware of the need to connect with nature, to recenter. And they seem to understand and value that. Moving on, that kind of links to number 16, which is they really take responsibility for their own well-being and health, specifically where they've got these really long and dark winters. In the winter, they'll take vitamin D because there's not enough sunlight to produce vitamin D.
Yeah, vitamin D. You guys must take vitamin D. I mean, you must have to take vitamin D supplementation during the winter. It's one of those things that I need to do as well. In the UK, we don't take it seriously enough. But when it gets to winter and we have a lot less sun, vitamin D supplementation is so important because you notice, and I think we all have this in Northern and Western Europe, when it gets to winter, like the mood of the people changes. It's already starting to change now. I don't know what it's like in Sweden at the moment, but we're getting a lot of overcast days and that summer happiness starts to disappear and people become more insular, a bit more quiet, a bit more, not wanting to spend as much time outside. So vitamin D is very, very, very important. Vitamin D supplementation, very, very important.
But they really take responsibility and there's a real sense of intentionality because in the summer, they're picking berries to put in the freezer ready for those winter months when they can have blueberry juice. And
I mean, I picked some berries a couple months ago, blackberries. There was loads of them growing wildly around here and I picked some. I didn't freeze them though, but I did pick some.
Just enjoy all the goodness that they harvested in the summer. Number 17, Lördagsgodis. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, which is Saturday sweets. In Sweden, they have these big sweet counters, but the tradition is that you...
That's another video I did, same video, where I had Marlboro and the sweets. Check it out. I love your pick and mix sweets. Apart from the licorice, but we won't talk about that.
Go and buy sweets on a Saturday morning, which means that you don't buy sweets any other time, really. I'd love to hear your comments about that if you're Swedish, to know how that actually works, because my granddaughter was having some sweets on a day that wasn't a Saturday, but somebody said to her, but it's not Saturday. The culture is you have sweets on a Saturday and no other time. 18, snow. I've had snow here in early December, but just seeing snow on the trees, and I don't know, the whole world looks so much prettier with snow. And of course here, especially the further north you go, you've got guaranteed snow. The whole world looks just totally magical. So I'm a complete sucker for that. 19, which comes back to, I think, something I said earlier, which is people really will take responsibility for others. So people take responsibility for their neighbours and want to help you out. Yeah. I think that's really helpful. And I know my son noticed it a lot when he was travelling.
Very helpful. Very helpful. I remember struggling with something and like a Swede will just help you. I just help you. I do remember that. You are helpful. That's true.
Around a couple of summers ago, that people just like, if you've got a problem and you just happen to share it with someone, that it's no longer your problem. They're like trying to help you solve it without it being a burden on them. They just take responsibility, which is kind of cool. Which leads me on to 20, which is just, I don't know, doing a good job seems to matter. People seem to take pride in doing a really good job. I think that's not the case in loads of places, so that's good. Lost count of where we're at. The wildlife diversity and abundance here is just mind-blowing. So the fact that there's elk, but if you're American, read moose, I think, and beavers and deer and geese. And up north, there's wolves, bears and wolverines. I love the fact that there is a whole lake, Hornafjörn. It's an enormous lake, dedicated as a nature reserve, and you can't go swimming there. It's for the birds, and it's just, I just love that mindset. And things like the beavers were hunted to extinction, but then reintroduced. And now there's something like 130,000 across the whole of Sweden, they estimate. Oh man. This should have come higher up the list.
She said 1922. So even in 1922, you were doing like conservation and like thinking about wildlife and its extinction. That's amazing.
Hand shops here are just amazing. And there's also another thing.
That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to go to a second-hand shop. I forgot to go to a thrift shop. I need to go to a thrift shop. I need to go to a thrift shop in Sweden and in Finland. Because you both like secondhand stuff. I also love secondhand stuff. I love secondhand stuff. I live on eBay. Everything's secondhand. In my living room, I have secondhand, even electronics at secondhand. Like I like secondhand things. I like to save money. So I need to go to one of your thrift shops.
Called in Swedish, it's a loppis, which translates flea market, which doesn't really capture how it feels for me. During the summer months, people will open up the garages or spaces and have a loppis, and so they'll sell there, and I don't know whether it's their neighbour's excess, because it always seems to be such a lot in a loppis, but they'll sell their excess stuff, and you'll be driving along the road and see a sign loppis and trek, I don't know, a couple of kilometres down the track to someone's home and have a look round their stuff and pick up some treasures to take back to your own place. So yeah, second-hand shopping, loppis shopping should definitely have come higher up the list. It's one of my favourite things to do, especially in the summer when you're driving along and you see a loppis sign. Awesome. Scandinavians have a real respect for their environment, I think because they realise how close they might have come to losing this amazing nature that they have.
Maybe.
That they recycle like insane people.
Guys,
and literally you just...
What she's saying is true. And it's not just the recycling, it's the way that you treat where you live with respect. In the sense of there's not litter everywhere, there's not loads of abandoned buildings, damaged things, graffiti. There is graffiti. I have seen graffiti, but it's kind of controlled graffiti, like art. Like clean, everything's clean. Like I haven't seen any litter. Maybe there are litter on the floor, but I've not seen it. It's not like the UK. You have areas in the UK where it's just the streets are just littered with waste and rubbish. But Sweden just looked clean. Everywhere where I went, it just looked clean.
Don't see litter anywhere. In contrast,
Just said.
There's 4G everywhere. I think my cottage must probably be the only spot in Sweden where there is not good 4G. The internet is insane speed. So the little cottage that I was staying in 2 or 3 nights ago, the broadband speed is 3 times as fast as my super fast broadband at home. Go figure. Driving
you have good
on
internet.
Swedish roads and tracks through the forest. It's really easy driving, but the forest tracks are really exciting driving as well, because you just don't know what's around the next corner. You've got to keep your eyes peeled. But long drives here don't feel like long drives. So when you sort of say, oh, it's a 5-hour drive, if I was driving from the south up to the Lake District, that's a tiring long drive. You've got loads of traffic and it's all just busy, and you've just got to get through it in a sense. Not what I would call an enjoyable drive. 5.5 hours going from here up to, let's say, Mora. You can put your car on cruise control, listen to a book, and it's not tiring. It's really a pleasure to drive.
She's not like, I will say I haven't driven in Sweden, but when I took public transport and I took a coach, and I know you guys said in the comment section of the vlog, like, Dwayne, why are you taking a coach and why do you not just jump on a train? Well, I could have done, but I wanted to save money, number one. But number two, it was peaceful. Oh my God. I can't get over that coach journey because I've been on many coaches in my lifetime in the UK and they're never relaxing. They're bumpy, they're loud, they're smelly, they're the opposite of relaxing. This coach journey, it was quiet, people were respectful, it smelled clean, no one smelled dirty, everyone smelled like they had a wash. You can't say the same for in the UK. Everyone was quiet. I fell asleep on the coach. I never fall asleep on the coach because coaches are so loud. Guys, I can't explain what that coach journey was like. And your roads are so peaceful. They're quite wide roads, very flat. You can see for miles. It was such a relaxing journey to Gothenburg. And I think also because I was so excited to go to Gothenburg, it was just lovely. And when I arrived in Gothenburg and I got off that coach, I was like, I felt like I was at home in I was like, I love it here. But yeah, the coach journey was so chill and your streets are very chill. Your people drive respectfully. I don't know. I love me some Sweden. I do. I should have married a Swedish person. Don't tell my partner that. I'm joking.
Real equality you see here. It's not unusual to see a couple of blokes out with their kids for a coffee. It's not strange during the weekday to see a bloke out on a bike with his kid. I think there's a real history of greater equality here between men and women. I'd love to know what you think if you're Scandinavian. We came across, I think it's a 1950s book. It's a household management book for women, but it doesn't just share recipes, but it shows how to build with your hands these wooden things that might be useful around the home, which is amazing to me. It doesn't assume those gender roles, which were certainly so clear when I was a child. This is what girls do and this is what boys do. I think that's really forward thinking. Okay, on to two Swedish words, allemansrätten and lagom. Two Scandinavian words which sum up the culture.
I know lagom, but what's the first one?
Which is loosely translated as all man's rights, and you can go anywhere in Sweden walking.
I was like, oh my God, I don't know that. I do. That means you can literally, the countryside, the nature is for everyone, pretty much.
You can walk onto people's lands, you have a right to walk across people's fields. Even if the forest belongs to someone else, you can walk through the forest and you're entitled, as far as I understand it, please comment below if I've misunderstood it, you can go into someone else's forest, but you can pick the blueberries, you can harvest the goodness of the land. So there's none of this is my land. You have a right to access nature. Yeah, I just love that. Lagom, which is just kind of this sense that everything will kind of happen in its own time. There's no rush. Stay chilled. That's how I interpret it. Coming here allows me just to not rush and to have that sense of peace that is so often missing from life elsewhere. Finally, I think even though
peace is the word. I said this like over and over and over and over again. When I went to Sweden, I just felt like not so much Stockholm. No, even in Stockholm I felt it. In certain parts of Stockholm I felt it, but in certain parts it felt very busy to me. But when I went to Malmo and I went to Gothenburg, peaceful. I felt so peaceful, so chill. I feel like peace. That's the word.
Some things seem really expensive because of the taxation here. I feel rich. I can own my own little cottage, my own piece of land. I can steward that and enjoy that and see the fruits of that. I can walk where I want. I guess for me that is about experiencing freedom that
Freedom.
probably most of all is what I love about Sweden. That makes me feel free. I love that freedom I feel here. I just love it. If you love Sweden or Scandinavia, please put them in the comments below.
Interesting she said freedom. She says freedom. There's a lot of things that you're not free to do though in Sweden, but it doesn't feel, I understand what she's saying, it doesn't feel dictatory. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it's a consensus, like you've all decided collectively for the good of the Swedish people certain things, like your system Bolaget. That is something that's been decided by everyone, and everyone just kind of accepts that and trust that system, and trust that system is the best for the Swedish people. That's what I love about Sweden, is that you're not free. No society is completely free, but it's been, the word again, accessible. You've made it so that it's just the right amount. Just the right amount. What does that mean again? Just the right amount. Not too much, not too little. Lagom. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not articulating it. I just think you've got it right. I think your government's got it right. I think your society, I think, suits me as a person. I felt like I fit in Sweden. Like I felt like I could just be in Sweden. And it was a weird feeling when I went there. And thinking back to it, I'm like, amazing. I was so happy that what I learned about Sweden when I was doing these reactions and what I experienced married together, they made sense. Like, I thought I would like it, and I ended up loving it. So there's that. So maybe I should move to Sweden. I say this all the time, but guys, I'm deadly serious. If we ever decide to, we said that we don't want to stay in the UK. We'd like to live abroad. My partner would like to move to Asia again. I love Asia. I love Thailand. I love it. But if we don't move to Asia and we stay in Europe, seriously would consider living in Sweden. Really. But then we've got to visit there. I've got to take my partner there first, and then we'll see. Anyways, guys, is this finished?
Disagree. I'd love to hear why. This is just my opinion about why I love.
She's finished, basically. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one. Oh, make sure you subscribe, by the way. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I post every week. Sometimes 5 days a week. A lot of videos. How many videos are on my channel now? I've thought about it just then. I've done so many videos on Sweden and Finland. There's got to be at least 400 videos on my channel. Subscribe. There's 400 videos, guys. If you subscribe, you have 400 videos to watch. I've been making videos every week for 2 years straight on this channel. Without fail. Every week. So yeah, make sure you subscribe. Guys, anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'm going. Until the next one, I'll see you very soon.